Hey everyone, it's Kim and I'm here today to share with you a design team project for Gina's Design Laser Cuts. And as you saw at the beginning in the photographs, it is a banner and it spells the word create. And you can get these banners, of course, in Gina's store. And you can also customize what word you would like. You just have to let Gina know. My word on mine is create, and I've actually, created this for someone. It's going as a gift, so I'm actually filming this way in advance. And you're not going to see it until she receives it. Well, it should work out about right anyway. I'm hoping anyway. So let me get started. It's a bit too hard to film hanging up, so I'm just going to go piece by piece here and show you. So the first thing I did was I've created these flowers, and these flowers are like the ones that Patricia, Little Shabby Chic, made, and she has a tutorial on that if you go over to her channel. And basically you just take long strips of fabric, fold them over and glue them, and then you just snip the edges, and it creates this little bit of a ruffle here. And I've created two of these at the edge of each of the banner, which I hope that the photographs earlier had picked up. So I've got that on each end, and I just put a wild orchid craft flower in the center, and then I've used my vintage seam binding in this lovely beige color, and I really wanted to keep this in the creams, tans, beige to make it really super shabby. And I'm using my seam binding to string the banner together as well. So we'll start with the letter C here. I'm just going to move my camera up a little tiny bit. Hopefully I can get this all in. So these are the chipboard pieces, and I'm just going to finish off the back, but I left it because I wanted you to see it's just raw chipboard, and it comes with this piece here on the back, and then it has another piece that goes over the top, which is this piece here, and the letters. So that's what you get in your kit. You don't get any of the extra chipboard pieces that I've used. You have to add those yourself, and the embellishments, of course. So you get three pieces. You get the letter, the top piece, and the bottom piece. So what I have done, of course, it was plain chipboard. I took some, what paper was that from? I don't know what paper that's from, actually, but it was a fairly neutral blank paper. There wasn't really anything on it, and all I've done is I've taken layers upon layers of stamps in different distress ink colors. I've used my script stamp in the background. I've used a fleur-de-lis stamp, a little Parisian stamp, one that says carte postale up here, and a postcard one. So, and one that says Paris, I've done in a very light pink. So just different layers of stamps. So it was pretty plain paper, actually. And then I went around the edge with the distress ink on each one of these. And then here I've gone into my hoard vault because this is going to somebody very special. And I've used some vintage lace. And there's my kitty cat. Looney! Every time he hears me filming, he meows for some reason. I think he just thinks I'm talking to him. So I've used my hoard vault lace here. And this is very old antique lace that I actually got from a lady on eBay. And then here I've used a vintage doily right here. And the letters I've done just painted white, and then I took my homemade texture paste and just went over them to give them this really neat texture, and then I went around them with the brushed corduroy distress ink. And then here I've used one of Gina's pieces, the steampunk dress form, and I used the Martha Stewart putty paint and my script stamp and some copper embossing powder, and I just embossed over the top of the paint, and then again went around the edges with the frayed burlap, I believe. Yeah, I think it was the frayed burlap distress ink. And then up here I've used another little flower that I created, same thing as the big one, and then I cut a little piece of lace and a metal butter bee scrap piece, and I just kind of bent up the edges and then put a little pearl in the center. And then at the top here, I've got more vintage lace, a little wild orchid craft flower, and a wood sentiment from my stash. And that's basically the letter C. So on to the letter R. All the same lace I've used on every single one, so it has consistency in it. It's got the same beautiful, gorgeous antique lace and the antique doily, all the same stamping in the background here, and then I've cut a butter bee scrap piece in half here, and a few wild orchid craft flowers in the white and cream. And then here at the top you can see more of this gorgeous vintage lace. I just love it. It's very, very old lace. And the R, of course, has the texture paste. And then another wood word from my stash. And then here I've used another of Gina's pieces. This is the Cameo, and I love these. Again, I've used the Martha Stewart putty paint and my script stamp. And this time I used gold embossing powder on this one, and it's got quite a bit of sparkle to it. And the Cameo head itself, which these come in two pieces. You get the back piece and you get the actual Cameo head. And I went over it with my texture paste, and then I put some distress glitter on top of it because I really wanted it to have a little bit of sparkle. So that's the R. And now for the letter E. The same thing again, the same lace, same doily, same procedure with the texture paste on the letter. Here is one of Gina's pieces. It is a vintage perfume bottle, and I went around the edge with some glossy accents, and then the distress glitter, and then again on the little sprayer, and then just a little flower there. And then here I've done another Cameo, the same as the other Cameo I just showed you, with the script stamp and the embossing powder, and it just turned out so, so pretty. And more vintage lace, a wood sentiment from my stash, wild orchid craft flowers, and you can see again all the stamping that I've done in the background with the different colors of distress ink. So that's the letter E. And now the letter A. Here, again, same again. Another word from my stash. Here is another dress form, a little smaller than the first one, and the same thing, using the Martha Stewart putty paint, embossing powder, and the script stamp. And there you can see a little sparkle. Another butter bee scrap piece here. This is a piece from Gina's. It's a crown. And I went over that with just my just regular ink, the clear ink, and then some distress glitter. A nice big wild orchid craft rose here, and my vintage laces as well. Now the letter T is really fun. What I've done here, this is a piece from Gina's. This is the penny farthing, and I did the same technique I did on the other ones with the stamping. And I really liked how that came out. I used the copper on it this time with the script stamp, so it's really cute. Another word sentiment from my stash, wild orchid craft flowers, and this is a Gina's piece up here, the word dream in the script. So pretty. I'm just going to move my camera up a little more. There. So I've used the script, and again with my homemade distress paint, or just my homemade texture paste, and a bit of the distress glitter, wild orchid craft flowers, and a butter bee scrap metal piece, and again, of course, my beautiful vintage laces on here. So that's the letter T. And then last but not least, the letter E. And here, one of my favorite pieces from Gina, which is the Eiffel Tower. Same process again, painted it, embossed with the copper and my script stamp. Another wood word from my stash. And this time I made a rolled rose flower here with some muslin. Oh, that's what the other flowers are made out of. They're all made out of muslin. Kept it pretty simple. Wild orchid craft flower. This is a Gina's piece, a little fleur-de-lis. And of course my laces and some wild orchid craft flowers here in the corner. So there you have that, the letter E, and then you get to the end again, and I've created another flower so that you have one of these at each end, and then I've got all the seam binding that hangs down. So that is my banner, and I really hope that you like it. I'm going to try and move my camera here and try and get all of it in. Just 1 second. Let me move my camera. Sorry, guys. Try not to make you dizzy. Hang on, I'm just going to cover it up. Okay, so here are the pieces. There's the C and the R, E, the A, the T with the penny farthing, and then the E with the Eiffel Tower, and then of course the big flowers on each end. So that's my design team project for Gina's Designs. So let me know what you think. I hope you like it. I had a ton of fun making it, and please don't forget to go and check out Gina's store. You can get one of these banners, like I said, you know, whatever word you're wanting, just let Gina know, and she'll work with you on what letters you want for your banner. But they're tons and tons of fun to make, so I want to make another one. I had so much fun with this one. Alright guys, I'm going to go, and I will thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care everybody. Bye.